Welcome back to Get Intentional with Mary. I am your host, Mary Massey, and this is the podcast where we dive deep into inspiring stories of intentional living, entrepreneurship, and personal growth. In today's episode, I have someone who has done just that. She took her passion for something wonderful and made it into a business. Welcome, Sanchita, founder of Tea and Me, a solopreneur who embarked on an incredible journey to develop a unique product. We're going to be talking about the challenges that she faced, the process of creating her product, and the amazing impact it has had on her and her customers. Sanchita's story is one of resilience, passion, and the power of turning adversity into opportunity. So grab a cup of your favorite tea, get comfortable, make sure you share this episode with someone, and let's dive into this insightful conversation with Sanchita on Get Intentional with Mary. Welcome to Get Intentional with Mary. This podcast is for the busy woman who appreciates working hard and also playing hard. This show will focus on lifestyle, entrepreneurship, wellness, amazing interviews, and what every woman needs to live a successful and fulfilled life. Be sure to subscribe, share with friends, and leave a review. Now let's get on with today's topic. Welcome to another episode of Get Intentional with Mary. I have here a very special guest, somebody who has taken her passion for tea and turned it into an amazing company while also honoring somebody who's very important to her. So Sanchita from Tea and Me is here with me today. Sanchita, go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone in your own words, please.
Yes, hello, Marie. Thank you for having me on your podcast, and a very warm hello to your listeners. My name is Sanchita Shahi. A little bit of backstory on why I started my company. In the year 2020, I was laid off, and that was a rough time for me because I was also going through menopause. Both physical and emotional turmoil was there, and I was trying to deal with it the best I could. Now, tea is something that gives me emotional energy. So when I was going through this turmoil, I turned towards tea and I started having, trust me, like lots and lots of tea every day. It did help. It did, especially my emotional state, it did help me a lot. But my physical self was still not healing as much as I would have hoped to. So I started adding herbs to my tea like ashwagandha, triphala, arjun bark, moringa leaves. So I started adding these herbs to my tea, and that really had a profound effect on my physical self as well. And that is when the penny dropped. That was like the light bulb moment that, okay, this is something, if that could help others too. I mean, if it is working for me, it can help so many other women out there, even men for that matter. I had always wanted to have a company of my own, but not really sure what kind of company, what I would be doing. I did want to have a company of my own. And also, on to be very honest, I did hold back on that ambition a lot because of the security that I was getting with my pay package. The salary that comes in every month gives you a huge amount of security. I wasn't I wasn't willing to kind of stake that and go forward on this entrepreneurship journey. However, when I was laid off, it was almost the universe saying to me, hello, here is your opportunity. You wanted to do something on your own. Now go ahead and do it. So that's how we got started. It took almost a year for me to launch the company because in that 1 year, you go through so much. You go through figuring out your supply chain, you go through figuring out your shipping, your branding, a website, social media. There's so many things that you have to learn. And me being brand new entrepreneur, obviously it was taking me some time. And I am a first generation immigrant here. All those things took some time. But here we are today.
Let's get into what you said before about the fact that you didn't want to leave the comfort of your job. And I feel that a lot of women right now who have that ambition, who have that dream of creating their own business, they're on that same boat. But the key here is that you were basically forced to go ahead and do that. And like you said, the universe, God, whoever just gave you the freedom and the permission almost to go ahead and start that. So tell us a little bit about your frame of mind when you were going through this, because for this podcast, we do have quite a bit of women who are in business, and we combine the whole lifestyle and mindset aspect of entrepreneurship with
Yeah.
everything else that we do. So how was that process for you when you finally got the boot from work and it was, okay, here you go off on your own now? How did you feel?
So I did go through that phase of feeling low and why me, all those things. But I came out of it pretty good, pretty soon. And because I always look at the glass as half full, I decided, okay, I wanted this opportunity where I could do something of my own. And here I have been given this. So I grabbed that moment, actually, I grabbed that moment in time to set off on this new journey of my life. And it is, it's not easy. It's scary. There's fear for sure. There's fear of the unknown. There's fear you do doubt yourself at times. And then it's also a lonely journey because it's just you doing your stuff. There's um, all of us who begin with a startup pretty much are solopreneurs, and it's a lonely journey. You don't have a sounding board that you could talk to or share your highs and lows with. So it's definitely lonely. And like I said, it's also the fear of the unknown. You don't know if this is going to take off. You have to have faith in the process, have faith in yourself, and march along, and you will learn so much on this journey.
Did you have any mentorship at the time? Somebody that was helping you, a business coach or anything like that?
So I have not had a business coach. I get a lot of feedback from my husband, from my daughter, from a close knit of friends, few friends who are successful entrepreneurs today. I reach out to them from time to time for advice, and they do advise me. And I have also joined WeBack, and that is a great place. That has turned out to be a boon for me, honestly.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's incredible that you just went on this journey on your own. And I understand what being a solopreneur is, and you have so many things to think about as a service provider, like myself, as a coach. But when you have a product-based business, there's so much more that goes into that. So tell us a little bit about that process, because you have an amazing product. And we're going to get into the tea that you have and all the different ingredients, but let's talk about the production aspect first and tell us a little bit about how you went through, like you mentioned earlier, the production line, suppliers, and all of that. What does it take?
Yes. Because of the nature of the product, these are Ayurvedic inspired tea blends. These have been imported from India, and I have done all my sourcing from India for the tea blends. And that was a really long process. I had to go through a lot of suppliers to figure out the right kind of ingredients. And then even in that journey, there's some highs and lows. There are some suppliers who are not really so happy talking to you because you're a woman and things like that.
Mhm.
So I had one of them ask me if he could talk to my husband about it.
How did you handle that at the time?
You have to be patient because they don't know otherwise. So you have to be patient with them. It does, in the instant reaction is anger, trust me.
Mhm.
It's how dare you. But then you have to be patient and you have to get through them that, you know what, it's me that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Get used to it. And you'll be probably dealing with a lot more women in your business. Here I am, make the most of it.
Mhm.
People are slowly getting used to dealing with women, but it's still changing times. So yeah, so it was a journey, honestly, figuring out the right kind of suppliers because ingredients are the most important aspect of these tea blends. And so yeah, so
How
that
long was
was
that process that you said, okay, I'm going to do this and I need to go visit this supplier? How long would you say it took you to finally nail down a good supplier for your product?
yes, it took about 5 to 6 months to do that because that is the most key thing for any company. I think figuring out the right of suppliers the right kind of ingredients for your blends or whatever product that you are selling.
So one of the reasons why I was asking about the development of the product is because I do have ladies who want to set up their own product line, and I want them to understand like how the process works, because you mentioned that it took you 5 months to just find a supplier. So how much time would you say somebody who has a product like yours, doesn't really matter what kind of product it is, how much time should they realistically give themselves in order to launch their product? Would you say a year and a half? How long did it take you?
Yeah, definitely do your homework. I would say take your time. It could be anywhere between 8 months to a year. There are some people who make their products in their kitchen. And so for them, it takes even longer because they are honing in onto each ingredient slowly and patiently. I have sourced it from different suppliers. Just stepping back here a little bit and taking something from my journey. Uh, when I told you that I was mixing herbs in my tea and having it, and that was the light bulb moment for me because it worked, I had decided then that I am not going to make this in my kitchen. I want you to have trust and faith in my blends. These actually blends have been developed by Ayurvedic doctors. Take this, for instance, Moringa Miracle. The beat for Moringa was it should address women's health. It really, Moringa helps me a lot during periods. It should address women's health. It should also, because so much, I am 50, and a lot of us at this stage go through being pre-diabetic, and which is reversible. Moringa helps a lot with diabetes as well. It helps with blood pressure. I gave certain instructions to the doctors that I need a blend for something like this, a blend for morning boost, give something that boosts you in the morning, maybe something for sleep, for your gut health. So based on my beat, they figured out a recipe. They made a recipe, and between the Ayurvedic doctors and there was a tasting team, between the two teams, there was back and forth because for me, the taste of my tea was very important. You should look forward to having a cup of tea in the evening when you're back home tired from work. We went through back and forth between these two groups, between the Ayurvedic doctors and the tasting team. And then finally, when there was a green signal from both, we locked in on the recipe. So that's how these blends have been developed. And that takes some time. Honestly, it was 5 months because we were doing it during the pandemic when there was lockdown everywhere. I sourced these sitting from here, reaching out to a lot of contacts in India. And we did a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of video conferencing, phone meetings. And that's how these blends were developed.
Wow, that's amazing. On top of everything else, you were dealing with a pandemic and not being able to be there. I remember years ago, I started an activewear clothing line, and I was having the items imported from Peru. And I would have to travel all the way out there, and I wasn't able to do that. So that went like right out the window for me. So we didn't end up doing that. But I love the fact that you went to these doctors and you told them exactly what you needed, what types of blends, because these types of blends are what we all need, really. Something to help us in the morning, something to help us calm down in the evening. I have here a box of amazing samples that you sent me. And I have to tell you that the first one that I went to, I think, was the morning boost, because I do so much in the morning, and they're delicious. You don't really have to add anything to them. I'm the type of person who really enjoys loose tea. And the one that I'm having now is the daily de-stress. It's been a long day and I have a lot going on. So I'm enjoying that now. But another one too that I really liked was the deep bloat blend. Because so many women, like you said, at this time, at this stage, perimenopause, there are so many things that do begin to happen. And the first thing that a lot of women tend to go for is the traditional medicine. The doctor says having issues, pill. You are having mood swings. Here's an antidepressant. So tell us now about the ingredients that you have in some of these blends. For example, let's say one of the common things, of course, is anxiety and stress, right? So which blend and why would you suggest that we drink, and how often also throughout the day?
These Blends are safe to be had every day. Of course, don't have 10 cups, but be reasonable. And but these blends can be easily had every day. You see my morning boost, it has ashwagandha in it. And you said that we go through a lot of stress, a lot of mood swings, depression, and we are put on antidepressant pills. Ashwagandha deals with a lot. It gets rid of a lot of stress if you have it on a regular basis. It's an adaptogen. Adaptogens are plant-based herbs that help with stresses in your body. So it will really address any kind of stress that you're going through. And then, of course, we have my daily de-stress blend. This has Arjun bark. That's another very good, very potent Ayurvedic herb that addresses a lot of issues. It also addresses cholesterol issues. It takes care of cholesterol, of women's health, of just overall building overall immunity. Tulsi, which is also known as holy basil here in this blend. You have hibiscus. Hibiscus also helps during periods, and it helps in blood sugar reduction, and it generally calms you down. It's a very relaxing herb. Give it some time. Have it for a period of 3 weeks to a month and then decide whether it's working for you or not. This is not your regular medicine that you pop in your mouth and in half an hour you are. This takes time to work on your body. At the same time, I would suggest leading a healthy lifestyle. That's the
Right.
most important thing. That's the ethos of a brand. We like to tell our customers, hey, lead a very healthy lifestyle. Do your yoga, Pilates, go for your morning runs, your evening walks, eat healthy, and drink these fabulous tea blends. They have just good herbs in them and nothing else. There's no preservatives, nothing. There's just good herbs, and it will really help you build up your immunity without putting any chemicals in your body.
Yes, and it's important that you mention that you have to give it time to work because natural medicines, that's how it works. The body assimilates. And for those who are listening and watching, whenever you go the naturopathic route, the Ayurvedic route, you have to be consistent also. And you have to understand where it is that you may need a little bit more of a boost, where you need the help. But it's also a holistic approach to taking care of your body. It's all in what you drink, in what you eat, how you think, how you move. So it's important to have this as another resource, really another healthy resource that is safe for you, safe for the kids when they have the tummy issues. I see here too that you have the turmeric tea. That's amazing for inflammation. So
Yeah.
everything that you're saying here, the ashwagandha for hormonal health, for mood swings and things like that. Then the turmeric for the inflammation. You have some cholesterol lowering ingredients, herbs in here as well, and also pre-diabetes types of
Yeah.
herbs that can help you. So tell us about your go-to. And I know that before we go into that, the tea and me on the box here, you told me that you have the handwriting of your grandfather, was it?
Yeah.
He was the one who inspired you and had tea rituals with you. So tell us a little bit about the ritual of drinking tea with him.
Yes. The NME, the cursive on the TNME logo, that's my grandfather's handwriting. And honestly, my company is an ode to him. He is the one who loved drinking tea. So every morning, we used to have a massive tray of tea made, and we would all sit around, both him and my grandma, all of us, uncle, aunts, lots of cousins, parents, everybody, and we would just chit chat about our daily uh, routine, our schedules, what's going on in our lives. He loved to hear what we had to say. And like any other person, if somebody is giving you importance, you feel good, you feel heard. And he made us feel heard. And he would sit there, do this, and keep having his tea. The adults would have their tea, the kids would have their milk, just depending. It was just a very nice, warm family atmosphere that both him and my grandma inculcated within our family. And this went on for years till their lifetime that happened. And he passed on his love for tea to us and to me. And when I told you earlier that tea gives me emotional energy, that's the reason, because I associate it with good memories, with warm feelings, and that's why it gives me emotional energy. Plus, the kind of caffeine that is present in tea is way better than what, I know I'm going to say something controversial here, but it's way better than the kind of caffeine that you would find in coffee. I have had some customers. Okay, let's stick to my story first about my grandpa, then I will get into the customer testimonial. So that's how he passed on his love for tea to us. He would also do journaling while we were sitting there chit chatting. He would encourage us also to be part of his diary writing. He would ask us, do you remember what time that person came to our house? Because he would make note of everything that would happen in his day life in his diary. His diary was a chronicle of his life. We have, so it's a legacy for our family now because all the diaries are there. Beautiful things written about his life. And yes, it is. And the picture on the sampler box,
Yeah.
that you see,
Uh-huh.
there's a diary here, there's a journal here, and there's a cup of tea, and that's his passion that we were trying to depict here, his diary and his cup of tea.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that story. I lost my grandparents when I was very young,
Oh,
but they bring so much wisdom. And in the American culture, we don't have that. We don't have that whole sitting together, generations, cousins. So just hearing you say that, I was visualizing all of that happening. And it's so beautiful
mm-hmm.
to hear. And I highly encourage anybody who's listening to do that. Sometimes I do sit with my kids and we have the teapot and the little cups, and we have our own little tea ritual. I love
That's
coffee myself. I love tea. I drink tea more than coffee for sure because there are so many more options on the herbal side, on the holistic side of things. But let me ask you now, how do you structure your day? Tell us about the types of teas and blends that you enjoy drinking. And I know it's probably different depending on the day, but
yeah.
tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, first thing, I definitely have my morning boost. I love that. My morning boost has ashwagandha in it. I told you it has oolong tea. I love oolong tea. So these blends are the blends that I we have. They are all low caffeine or no caffeine. 8 of them have either oolong tea leaves in them or green tea leaves in them. The remaining two are tisanes. Tisanes are teas that have no tea leaves in them, they're just herbs. That's my turmeric tonic and my tulsi tranquility. I get started off honestly with my morning boost. I love it. It has a nutty taste to it. It has some apple bits, so that's sweet enough for me. I get my natural sweetener from those apple bits in there. And like I said, I love oolong tea. It has hibiscus in it. So hibiscus is a natural laxative. It really gets your day started very well, and it does give you that energy upliftment. So I get started with that. I honestly, that's the first thing that I do. I come down, I make my cup of tea, and I am not into anything like pouring it into a teapot or anything. I'm very basic. I boil my water in a pan. When it's when you see the bubbles, I turn it off, put my tea leaves in there, cover it, leave it for 2 to 3 minutes, and then pour my cup of tea out. And that's how my tea is ready. I have that. I go for a morning walk. I do before that, of course, I do some stretches, come back, I I shower, and then doing my some tea and me work. There's some shipments ready to be shipped out. So that happens, and then it's midday. I have my lunch, and then I have my daily energy. Did you get a chance to go through my daily energy yet? Have you? Okay. This has some very interesting herbs in them. It has ginger, it has jasmine, it has both oolong tea and green tea. This is one herb which has both of the teas blended in it. It has mint. I love mint. It has cardamom, it has lemongrass, and it's just amazing. It just gives you that pick me upper in the middle of the day. And I just love this tea blend. And then of course after that I am again back to my work, couple of hours of work. And by the time it's evening, we get dinner. It's just me and my husband now. My daughter has gone off to a university. It's just the two of us now. We get our dinner and we watch some TV. And we don't watch maybe an hour or two of TV together. And then we both like to do some reading on our own. So I just make myself a cup of my sound sleep that also has very calming herbs in it. It has chamomile, it has lemon balm, it has lavender. It has green tea. Green tea also helps you sleep. I know it has some caffeine, but it also aids in sleeping. And like I said earlier, the amount of caffeine present in our teas is very little because of the presence of other herbs. So per serving, automatically the amount of tea reduces. So it's just enough to give you a nice warm feeling, and that's how I end my day pretty much.
No, I love that. Everything you said, and the other blend too with the cardamom. I'm such a big fan of cardamom and lavender. So it's an experience. It's not just something that you make. And you're right. Like you probably make it quick and all that, but I like to take my time with it. I like to smell it. I like to look at the leaves.
Yeah.
I like to put it in the little container here.
Yeah.
So this is also wonderful. Thank you for sending.
You bet.
So
I have one of my own. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
So beautiful, Sanchita. Thank you so much for taking this time here with me and for sharing your passion for what you're doing. Let me ask you now, where do you see Tea and Me going as a company? What do you envision now for 2024 and beyond? What's getting you excited?
Yeah. So, no, thank you, Barry. Thank you for giving me this platform and this opportunity. For 2024, honestly, the plan is to build a community around my brand. I want like-minded people to be associated with my company, and I want it to be a two-way street. I want to interact with them directly. I want to hear your stories. How are you feeling today? What did these blends do to you? Is my morning boost working for you? I want to know from my customers. So the idea is to work on building a brand around a community around the TNME brand, and of course, hopefully expand the product line as well.
Wonderful. I'm thinking, how else are you going to expand this line? Because you have so many amazing blends. I'm sure there's more out there, but I feel like this really just hits home with everything that everybody needs on a daily basis.
No, absolutely. You are right. This is something that out of the 10 blends, you can just pick and choose and you'll be sorted with your beverage requirement. But we were hoping to add just some classic tea as well to our line, because there are some tea drinkers who want just a regular cup of tea. So I was hoping to add that. That's another reason I want to build a community around the company, because I want to directly know this is feedback from customers. So many of them have reached out and asked, hey, do you just have oolong tea or do you just have green tea? Maybe adding that. And
you're right. Because when I offer people a cup of tea, I say, I have this and I have this and I have this. I have so many blends. Do you just have plain green tea, Mary?
Yes.
So yes. It's important. I totally understand that. So I think that's a wonderful idea, and it'll give people more options as well. So please now tell everybody where they can find you. How can they get in touch with you? How can they become part of your community?
Sure. You can find us on tnme.co. That's our website. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on LinkedIn, on Pinterest. Best would be to DM us directly on tnme.co on Instagram. That's our Instagram handle. We would love to hear from you. You can put in your requests. You can just stop by and say hello, and we could do cheers over a cup of tea. And I would love to hear from your listeners.
Absolutely. And I'm going to put all the links also in the show notes so that everybody can visit and check you out online.
Perfect. And we do have coupon code for your customers, for your listeners. We are giving out a 15% discount on whatever that they are buying. It is The code is TEART, TEAART, and I can send that to you, and your listeners can make use of it.
Wonderful. I'll add that to the show notes as well. So what an incredible conversation and learning a little bit more about these beautiful blends. And I congratulate you on what you're doing. It's not easy.
Thank you.
And kudos to you. And I wish nothing but the most amazing success to you in years to come. And I definitely, you have a customer in me. So I'm happy to support you and share.
It's perfect.
So
thank you. Like I said, thank you, Mary, for giving me this platform and for helping me bring my story to your listeners. I really do appreciate that. With strong women like you who reach out to other women and support them, that's awesome, and kudos to you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And there you have it, my friends. Do let me know what you thought of this interview and all the other podcast episodes on Get Intentional with Mary. You can always reach out directly. You can always get on my calendar. And if you are looking to try some of these blends, Sanchita has set up an amazing discount code for us, which I will definitely take advantage of. So when you go to tandme.co, you're going to use the discount code TEART. That's TEAART. Go ahead and check out the delicious blends. I'm a huge fan, and I know that you will be too. Until next time.